Hello, welcome back to Emblem Hunter. Because I didn't notice the microphone was off, we're going to be continuing on with this chapter with me just talking over it. Okay. With one fan being on, hopefully not causing too much of a stir after looking over what happened previously. We got this enemy phase. He's saying a bam. But yeah, I honestly do hate how people complain about skill emblem when it's no different from looking at stats or calculating critical hits and evade. It's like no different, honestly. I'm looking at the upper echelon of this Fire Emblem community, your elitists and such, and your old guys who've been doing this for years. Who's this? Gonna see if that's not too loud, but I don't like how they say, basically, that Fire Emblem's bad because skills, adding random chance and such. I don't know. Skills that cause basic mechanics to work, like you could say an FE4, the critical skill. You could say that's a general basic mechanic of Fire Emblem, seeing as crit rates are a thing. Or doubling. They just naturalized, like doubling with the pursuit skill, that just got naturalized into everyone's kits. All you gotta do is take your notes. Pay attention. You know, you're trying to make a living out of these games, so you actually need to pay attention to your work and not really slack off in that regard. Diligence is key. Now, I don't claim to be the best at these kind of games. I think my performance I've shown all of you with this Let's Play and the prior two are a testament to that. I do not claim to be the best, but it's annoying when you keep hearing saying X, Y, and Z over and over and over when it comes to this skill. Who is utter cancer. When it's be no different than oh, you're just getting crit. It's like you go like, oh, skill. The skill stat or missing. It's just utter cancer, as people would go. And they go, oh, I got hit, you aren't dodging. Hit is other cancer. It's no different than just using regular game mechanic. I've played every Western released game that at least is done on a little read up on other Fire Emblems I have yet to play, which are the Japanese exclusive ones, on what their stuff does, basically. Because when I watch videos online, people are saying X skill is like X game skill in X game. Basically. And it's important to just not, I don't know, nitpick on this perceived problem when it's honestly not a problem. Because, yeah, people like FE7, but, and a lot of its stuff gets tense at times, but it can get boring a lot of the time. Skills add an extra bit of aggravation, because they can happen at any time and can't really be mitigated back down. But they can also be your greatest boon. You're a miracle, per se, to winning some sort of run. Like, miracle on healers. At least not the genealogy type of miracle, where it's based on your HP, you get a big evade bonus for one turn. On, like, I think 2 different characters that get it. Which, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's good. But a random chance to just live on 1 HP is so much more rewarding when it lands, because you know it covered your fuck up. You know it did so. And it rewards more reckless play, because you know you might have that to fall back on, and it makes things more fun. RNG, more like RNG's this. Like, for example, if Raven here did not dodge any of these attacks, or did not grow properly, he'd be benched. Out of here. He'd vamoose and be gone forever. The only stable units in Fire Emblem are honestly healers. And even then, because of Thracia's being able to dodge staff units, it's being able to miss. Which is kind of bad. I honestly don't like that mechanic because it's kind of dumb. Here's your staff unit. Here's your main Lord Leaf. If he doesn't get healed, he dies, and you get game over. It's like he hit. You dodge. He dodges twice. It's like, dude, I'm trying to heal you. I'm trying to do a good thing. Why the hell are you dodging? That's basically how I feel about Thracia Staves, because it doesn't make sense in the context of a story. Like, are you going to say battlefields are so hectic even when you're directly next to your ally? That you have to dodge staves because you can't understand the simple fact that someone's trying to heal you or warp you or rescue you. Yeah, the fact that rescue could fail. It's interesting. It can make things more or interesting at the very least, but it's... I'd honestly say it's a bad mechanic. And it's no wonder it hasn't shown up in any other games. Because... dodgy staffs. Dodging staff uses. It's just bad. It's like, why? Why would you do this to me? He's literally standing right there. Hit him with your stave and be done with it. And yeah, I know that if you get enough skill, well, you can actually just avoid like missing staves altogether. But yeah, outside of offensive staves like Berserk and Silence, Sleep, and others, there's honest to God no good reason to be dodging staves. Guys, if you can't rely on your healers to heal, what's the actual point of bringing your healers? You might as well just bench them and just use vulneraries instead, which are just in limited supply. Even if you can steal everything from everyone in Thracia. A lot of other Fire Emblem games are just going from shop to shop. Sometimes chapter to chapter just to get vulneraries. Like it just dodging stave uses just doesn't make sense narratively in a wars or scenario. Like if there was a wall of guys in between you, then I might be able to understand. But when you're right next to them, really? What other topics can I exhaust into oblivion? Oh, I know. When it comes to Three Houses, Claude is the third wheel. Of the plot. You could cut Claude's entire route out, and nothing would change. Like, Claude is so useless within the overall narrative of Three Houses. Like, Dimitri and Edelgard have actual history together. What does Claude have with these other two? They met at the Offers Academy. They're to be the next rulers, and that's about it. Like, say if Claude stayed inside the kingdom for a little bit because they found him earlier, or had some sort of retainer that had, like, I don't know, kingdom ties or empire ties previously. Basically making a whole extra character. Like Judith, for example. I'm sure Claude and Judith knew each other at some point prior to the academy activities, and as long as Judith and Ingrid know each other in some capacity, not like know of each other, but know each other, it makes them like it connects Claude over to the kingdom and gives him more agency, basically. Because the only agency Claude has in the war phase is, I'm one of the head rulers of the country. I don't want my country to be taken over. And I do want to take over the other countries. Hell, if Claude and Edelgard actually had some team-ups, I would say Claude would be fine. Like, you know how you can spare Claude in Crimson Flower? Power Road. When you get it to him, he basically fights against you. When you spare him, there's no reason to spare him. But what they could have done, all they had to do, final chapter, say turn 5 or something, because you're not going to beat the chapter in 5 turns. Claude shows up as a green unit and does some stuff. He puts his neck out for you because reasons. Hoping to gain and some sort of favor with the Emperor so she doesn't, like, knock down Elmira's doors, basically. Because after that, he just heads back to Elmira and just ends up being King of Elmira, I guess. How that happened, they never really stated. Like, I guess Claude's dad was King of Elmira? That's my guess. Otherwise, there's no reason to. And as for the rest of the Golden Deer, honestly, even going by Choose Your Legends results and how people felt about these characters, I would say, hey, Lysithea just has more agency in the story overall. Just because she has reasons to either attack or side with the Empire. Outside of, oh, the Avatar recruited me. But she'd honestly kind of make a better Lord in this case. I said he is a better character than Claude. Think about that. She has more agency in the whole plot of the game than Claude, leader of the Alliance. Like, what the heck, man? Yeah, aren't you supposed to be like some sort of king of a nation and you have like little to no agency? Hell, she has more agency in the school arc than Claude, who's only there because he's the house leader. And like, yeah, Claude wants to learn the mysteries of Fodlan, and that's his goal. But he can do that from any side of the war, and from any point. He could have just been a random student. Anyways, that's my Claude rant. We should be getting to the first bit of dialogue since bolting. I don't remember if I skipped it or not. But man, it's like Lynn in FP7, basically. Claude is 3 houses Lynn. Popular because he's hot. No one can deny that. Because by the end of the game, if you did not choose his route, he goes back to his homeland and does stuff there. Hell, he could have at least given you a fail knot. See, if you're gonna make it usable in 2 routes, you might as well make it reusable in 3. It's like the Alliance has no agency. Because the story wasn't built around the Alliance. It was built around the Kingdom's plight. Like, as they say, it's just a bunch of petty noble squabbles that have the Alliance in turmoil. And all they need is an adept leader to see them through. Hell, another thing they and Claude and Lynn have in common, they're both foreign units to the natural race of the continent. The dominant race is there when it comes to looking at person to person. Not any of this Nazi stuff, but just to clarify. But they'd be considered foreign characters of not whatever Fire Emblem races would be. Because I look at Dedue, he's not black. He's a Descaran. That's literally what it is. You can make your arguments, but that's literally what it is. Claude's not black, he's Almiran. And if you look at a lot of the characters, at least the NPC characters, because they didn't something to change the skin tone, those countries have your white characters in them, or what would be perceived as white. So, when you look at it, doesn't really work. Now I forget what I'm saying. It's a touchy topic. You know, we look at Devdan in Path of Radiance. He's not an African guy. As far as I know, he's Begnia. Because there's no Africa in Tellius. You find me in Africa in Tellius and prove me wrong. Oh, we know Basilio ain't black. He may be dark-skinned, but he ain't no one from Africa. All Basilio is the West Con of Ragnaferox. Or is it the East Con? No, I believe it's the West. Because you could enter from the East. But none of these characters are the race that people in the real world would describe them as. Because you can't describe them as the real world races, you have to describe them as the races within their own respective game universes. Also, I read somewhere that Byleth is a great example as a non-binary character, which... How? We're getting controversial in this episode, but when you have gendered classes, so the game mechanics don't support this notion, you have literal male and female Byleth, two separate things, with unique S supports for each of them. That's another two separate things. And it doesn't make much sense. Like, at the most, they only don't use pronouns, which doesn't make them non-binary. That's not how that works. And gender is what's in between your legs. Not what's in your heart. Because your physical biology, not something you can really change on the snap of your fingers. Seeing as it just doesn't work like that. We aren't technologically advanced enough to where we can pick and choose what genes we have. Once we can do that, we can say we can. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. So if you want to fight me on this, go to the top genetic research schools, join the top genetic research labs, and prove me wrong by creating the technology to do so. Literally just do that, and you will have proven me wrong. Because I like physical things. Things I can get my hands on. I prefer physical labor. I only make videos because I'm bored. I don't do it for money. I just do it because I'm bored. And that's like the most motivating thing I got right now. Okay, Cilicia and the Alliance, and their similarities, because they're very similar countries. They're basically Fire Emblem Americas. Or maybe a closer thing would be Fire Emblem England's. That's more of a parliament system where everyone at a round table votes and such, but each territory, like Foray, Ostia, Kalen, Laos, operates independently of another. And Ostia, the ruling house, works around all of them. It has the strongest military might because they have to protect the borders from invaders from, say, Etruria, Bern, or any other place in the continent. So Ostia would be the federal government in this sense. While Ellwood's Foray would be your state governments. Now this is before they had the idea of electing officials, seeing as they have the whole nobles status. And concepts of medieval times and such, but okay, we're gonna be getting into Limstella's bolting quote soon. I don't remember if I skipped over it or not, so we'll see. What really grinds my gears, general incompetence. Incompetence, laziness. It's like you have the ability. It's in your two hands to do the thing that will make things better or work at the very least. And you don't. You look at say, your YouTube right-wing political people, or left-wing political people. Oh yeah, that was because Dad was calling up, so I had to answer that. But you have these people who will complain, but they don't have the cojones to go into political office and run for it and get those changes that they want to make everything better. If your ideas are worth fighting for, then fight for them. Become your political office and do it. That's like the only admirable thing that these far left people and leftists in general have about them. That they are willing to just get out and run. Because sometimes you gotta put your foot down and scream at the top of your lungs. Now, a lot of them are stupid and don't know how political systems actually work, and how other things in the government works, because they don't understand why. They don't understand the why. They don't understand the how. They don't understand why. What does it mean for it to be put into practice? They just parrot what they've read at school, and the sweet nothings whispered into their ear. They're radicalizing them. Because the failing of the school system, that's the biggest problem at all. College is not supposed to be where you get your major education from. Your life education to get you straight into a job, that's supposed to be high school. High school is supposed to teach you how to do your taxes, not your parents. High school is supposed to teach you how to budget, teach you work skills, because that is the soonest point you can actually go and apply for a job. It's like not that hard to figure that out. And it doesn't help that businesses have secretary jobs requiring college degrees. That's just asinine. Alright, we're getting to the bolting quotes. Bolting quote. Hector gets hit with bolting and gives me a near heart attack. I will take your life and your essence, all for the sake of my master. But literally, parents had said that your parents say you need to get a college degree to be successful in life. And while that does open up more doors, you need to work through the doors that you have first before you open new ones. Because the predatory practices of student loans, which was mostly made to be a lesson in responsibility, but because students there were not taught in high school how to be responsible, it becomes a very irresponsible decision to do. You know? Like, I'm not gonna go to college, that's for sure. That's dumb as hell. $20,000 in debt? And just... for what? A piece of paper that's gonna get me nothing? Or I could go to the local, say, Burger King, for example, flip a few burgers, and wow, I'm already making money. And did you know the garbage man, the guy that's paid to sit in a truck all day and drive around and and take garbage makes more money than college professors. You know why? Because the job no one wants to do. If more people did these jobs, then more people would have more money. But no. Oh, the feminists want the CEO jobs that you literally do nothing. Because they can't deal with their sensitive noses. You'll turn your nose at the actual well-paying jobs instead of giving it to kind of the you want to be in charge and run a company into the ground. Plus, as we know, feminism is supposed to be about the choice, giving people the option to. There's this old saying: you can bring a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. Meaning, you could bring the smartest people into, say, a science room. And if they don't want to do science, they want to say, hey, move boxes for a living? Well, that's their choice. But it's so much cancer cure, you can't force people to do a job. Because we live in this society that's supposed to be valuing choice, freedom, and all that. Instead, we live in a society where you can get canceled for having the scariest thing ever, an opinion on the internet. And even then, cancel culture is ugh. I don't like how mob rule will go and decide whether someone is allowed to eat. Basically. No angry mob should be allowed to decide whether you can go and eat food. That is not the job of a mob. And if you actually did something bad, then yes, you should be punished, but not by a mob. We have the concept of innocent until proven guilty. Innocent until proven guilty is probably one of the most important things we have. Because that's what prevents mob rule. And let's see. What was I talking about? Ranting about? Oh yeah. Mob rule. Bad. We have a criminal justice system. Now, if you want to, say, make something illegal, you have this constitutional barrier. Because the Constitution is there. But we've got laws everywhere that are unconstitutional. And it's all because no one wants to go say, oh, we'd like to change that second one right there. That first one, we gotta get that out of here. Here. We can't just... you can't just say, oh, we don't want Article 1 of, say, hey, that First Amendment, some part in there stripped or redefined or in addition to it. Because the thing about, with example, hate speech laws, some countries have them, But because hate speech is ill-defined and can literally mean for any the definition basically changes too frequently and too often, because right now what's considered hate speech is disagreeing with someone. Do you know how dangerous that is as a concept? It's like, oh, harumph, you disagree with me? Off to jail with you! Oh, for hate speech. That's horrifying. I guess you can guess. And I do honestly want to ask this question, because when I've commented on relevant videos on YouTube, I haven't gotten any answers to it, so I don't know if this is going to do any better, but in a country where we have the Second Amendment, which is basically the right to defend yourself, should people be charged with resisting arrest? Because we're also operating under the idea of innocent till proven guilty. You know? It's not as honest to get this question. Do the police have the right to charge anyone? I mean anyone, with resisting arrest when the police officer hasn't really gone through a court, or when they're picking up a random guy off the street? And if they're acting on suspicion, that's even worse. Because, as you know, those George Floyd riots happened. The reason why he was being arrested was because the cops had heard reports, or it was like rumors, one of the two, to bring in Floyd for using fake $20 bills. This concept here, that's important to know. So, would he have the right to resist arrest if he was only under suspicion? Because, hey, we shouldn't be arresting people if they're under suspicion for a crime. We should be arresting people if they've actually committed the crime. I know that gets into the territory of, oh, bomb threats and such. That shouldn't. And, you see a guy possibly planning something on the internet for some terrorist attack, but you can't really do much about it until the attack gone off. If it could be proven beyond a reasonable doubt outside of just dialogue and it, like say they had physical stuff for it, then I can say go. So yeah, it's just an honest question. I am curious to how people think on this. Because with the mass riots right now, it's an interesting question to pose, because it goes both ways. Getting closer to the end of this video. Closer and closer. what next to talk? Let's see. There's the fact that left-leaning news sources just are 100% biased no matter what. And you could say right-wing news sources are, but they've actually been slowly going to moderates because that's kind of the biggest market. But the fact that some people won't look things up or be willing to actually change their mind on an issue, even when presented with statistics, because they'll go, I know what's right. I want it. I'm the guy that knows everything. That's how they go. Which causes massive psychosis in a populace. Because a honest media can topple any dictatorship. And a dishonest media can, or it can get very close to toppling any country without that doesn't have a dictator. Anything. Any of these things can happen. We don't know if it can outright topple an honest country. Just because we don't know if America's dead yet. It might be by the time I've delivered this video, America might already be dead. And it'll be the extreme political division in this country that killed it. Because one side's willing to give ground and compromise, and the other side wants no compromises. We'll get zero ground. I'll let you guess which one is that. We'll sit down at the table. Without any strings attached, and just listen to what the opposition has to say. They make their points and such. Compared to their opposition, who will interrupt them, be loud, obnoxious, call things false, fake, when we know it's actually true. Because the news reported it a while ago. Like years before it became a problem. It's like, not hard. Getting to the story bit soon. We'll get through it soon. Just wait. I'll be able to read everything off. Because that was the major point of this video, to read everything off. And I just felt like I had to fill the air. The only reason there was retreat is because I wasn't sure if she was going to switch to Fimbleventer. I'd be surprised if YouTube decided to take down this channel or this video because someone's going to flag it for hate speech. And they'll refuse to tell me or anyone why. Basically. Because big tech companies are a scourge on free speech. That's all we ask is the right to ask people questions and tell people what we know and have arguments and verbally fight about it. We wish for linguistic combat. That's all anyone needs. Because how will we learn to agree to disagree without it? Because once it's all said and done, we're all human. We all pretty much have the same kind of organs inside us, depending on gender. But we have the whole same kind of general set, with the exception of reproductive. And we have very little different between us. And the difference between people is it's all in their head. When it comes to people, those mental states, the major differences between people, it's all in their heads. And the fact that we have internet, we can have conversations with anyone in the world. The internet can be a world peace creator and a world peace ender, depending if every country gets free speech. If every country has the right to say what they need to say with impunity, meaning all their citizens, all their governments and officials, everyone, we have a very good chance at world peace. It's not a joke. Even the most fervent racist and nationalist will be able to be sitting at a table with the people that they hate beyond a shadow of a doubt. And nothing would happen. They would sit down, eat their meal, have a conversation or two, and go home and sleep it off. Peace. But because we can't have a diversity of thoughts, peace can never occur. Because say, a white guy in California, and like in a California blue city, a non-college educated white guy in Tennessee, or a Klan member from the South. Three different ideologies in play here. Three different experiences. And they could all come to the table. You could get this black guy into the same table as the white guy. White KKK guy. And when you have diversity of thought, they can sit at a table and be best friends. I know it's crazy, they could be best friends. Because they can share the exact same ideology. Or they could modify their ideologies to be more accepting of others. For their thoughts. The mind has lots of power. The power to come up with ideas. The power to make videos. The power to create the thing that makes the videos. I am not human. This body, this heart are constructs. Yes, as it is this, as is this sorrow. But yeah, the mind has so much power. It is the mind is the means of production. You might say, hey, but the means of production, it's just the tools, the hammers, the sickles. Someone had to come up with the idea for the hammer and the sickle. You ever think of that? We didn't just pop out creation with hammers and sickles. We actually had to have someone over millions of years think up the idea. Yeah, chew on that. The means of production will always be the people. People and their minds who go out of their way and use their brain to think up new technologies and new solutions. Solutions to problems of old. And the ones who make the entertainment as well. I am a means of production. You are a means of production. Everyone in your family, a means of production. Everyone in your state, a means of production. Everyone in your country is a means of production. Even the billionaires that sit around doing nothing are means of production. Because they came up with the idea, they saw the demand, and acted on it. They took their risk. Because think about it. They could have sold all their assets and just sat comfortably in a house on a river with no trouble for money whatsoever. But no. They created a business to create revenue so people under them can get paid and have jobs. They created more jobs. They create industries. Like, if the guy didn't come up with the computer, you couldn't make this. If the guy didn't develop a screen, you couldn't have this. If some guy didn't have the idea to make the internet, this video wouldn't even be on here. it wouldn't even exist. So, next time, when someone tells you tries to tell you what the means of protection are, you show them, well, you tell them, I am the means of protection. You put your thumb up and point it at yourself. Time to end this chapter. That was a heated battle. I thought it was going on forever. Phew. It's not finished yet. Nurgle is waiting at the Dragon's Gate. Nurgle, he must pay. Before we go to the Dragon's Gate, Nils, if you don't mind, would you share your story with us? Huh? I won't force you to if you don't want to. Okay, I'll tell you. I want you all to know about me and Ninian. A millennium ago, a man chased Dragonkin from the land and exiled us. We had no place to go, not in this world. So we used the Dragon's Gate to flee to another world. When we passed through this chasm in space and time, many of us were lost. Still, we endured the journey. But by then, we were in few numbers. We had a few skirmishes with those humans we found, but at last we found home. We were stable there, happy even. But some thought back on our former home, and when we did, his voice reached out to us. Ninian was a medium in the other world, an oracle of sorts. She sat at the dragon's shrine. She held much power, and we were in prayer when the shrine happened. We heard a voice calling to us from the Dragon's Gate. It was a voice of an old friend. We knew we weren't supposed to open the gate in return, to open this world. If we had no idea that the owner of that voice was Nurgle. But something unexpected happened. When we opened the Dragon's Gate and traveled here again, we had lost almost all of our strength. The quintessence left within us was less than even that of an average human. In order to sustain ourselves, in order to breathe the air of this world, we took human form. We placed our energies within a Dragonstone. But our Dragonstone was stolen. Nurgle hoped to use it as a tool to summon other dragons until we escaped. We couldn't let our foolishness condemn our friends. Disguised as a dancer and bard, we fled wandering from country to country. That's when we first met Lady Lindis 1 year ago. That whole time, Nurgle was after you? Why didn't you tell me? You were so good to us. We didn't want to cause any trouble. After we left Leyden and Kalen, we were captured again. We decided that the only way to escape was to cut our own lives short. That was when we met Lord Elbert. He was so strong, so kind. He knew that we were what we were, and we had what we had done. He never once condemned us. On the contrary, he tried to set us at ease with some stories. Stories of his family, of his homeland. Ninny and I, we listened to his stories, and we grew to love his gentle wife and his son. Premonition, no, that's too strong of a word, but we had felt that his son would be the one to save us. That's what we felt. That's why, Lord Elliewood, I believe in you. Even though Ninian is gone, I will continue to protect you. I have to. That's Ninian's wish. It's our wish. Let's stop Nurgle. You're the only one who can do it. Nils. Let's do it, Elliewood. He's right. It's too early to give up. I mean, we're still alive. Oh, here. We're still alive. Everyone. You're right, my friends. Here with me. There's no power on this earth stronger than that. Let's go. Oh, to the Dragon Gate, so wait. That's where we'll shatter Nurgle's ambitions. To the true superpower of teamwork. And of course, we're accepting side quests. But until next time, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And goodbye.